February 7th is Laura Ingalls Wilder's birthday. Laura was not only a famous American writer, she was also a pioneer. This is an important part of our history and should be included within our classrooms. Throughout my years of teaching, I have ran into classes that had no idea who Laura Ingalls Wilder was. Others had read some of her books, and still others remembered the old TV show. Therefore, I like to create a day of learning that will be fun for both boys and girls. Hello and welcome to my channel, everyone. My name is Mary Ellen and I am an educator in the state of Illinois. Laura Ingalls Wilder Day can be a lot of fun. I like to let my students dress like the time period that we're learning about. This can create a more exciting and realistic environment. The first thing I like to do is introduce my students to the individual that we're learning about. First, my students are introduced to Laura Ingalls Wilder through an author study. This study has 2 short pages. The first page simply asks, who's doing the study? Who is it about? Then they have to find a picture of Laura Ingalls Wilder and make sure they paste it to the front. That concludes page 1. Time to move on to page 2. Page 2 asks some general background information. When was she born? When did she die? How old was she when she died? Did she have a husband or children? Then they have to locate 4 books that Laura wrote and place them on the author study. Then they get to research and find their favorite fact about Laura Ingalls Wilder. Finding and sharing their favorite fact is something my students have always found enjoyable. Therefore, I do not like to overlook this portion of the learning. One fact that has been presented to me by a few different students is in regards to Laura's Bible. It was stated that she found the Bible to be highly important and used a King James Version. Also, within Laura's Bible was found a reference sheet of verses. Making butter is a classic pioneer activity. For this one, each student needs a baby food jar. After they've shaken it for about 2 minutes, you will notice a whipped cream-like consistency begin to form. After a few more minutes, your butter will begin to form. Once your butter is completely done, you should enjoy that with a piece of bread. Another activity that I like to utilize during Laura Ingalls Wilder Day is Sunday dolls. Now, looking up information on these particular dolls is that during the Civil War, dolls were made out of handkerchiefs for children. And these particular items were only to be played with on Sundays. In order to make your Sunday dolls, you need stuffing. If you don't have stuffing, you could substitute with cotton balls. You need 1 rubber band per doll, pieces of ribbon, lace, fabric, and a hot glue gun. You begin with a piece of fabric that is either a 13 by 13 or a 16 by 16 square. This just depends on how big you would like your doll to be, or how much material you have on hand. The doll's arms are the first to take shape. Take your square piece of material and tie a loose knot in one corner. Go straight across to another corner and tie another loose knot. We will tighten those later on. Now that the arms are formed, you should have a pouch in between them. This is how you will create the head. Take your stuffing and begin filling the pouch. Work with it, adding and taking away stuffing until you are happy with it. Then put a rubber band tight around the head. In order to stay cost efficient, I located several of these items that were needed for the activity at the dollar store. You might also get the families involved and see if they could donate any of the needed supplies. Upon completion of your head, you can now tighten the knots in your material. Make sure that the knots are up close to the head. Next, you will take a wide piece of ribbon and place it around the neck. This is not only decorative, but it also helps to hide the rubber band. Then, take another piece of ribbon and make a bow around the neck. Personally, I like to coordinate the bow color with the lace the hat will be. It's time to add the lace on the head for the hat. For younger students, you can help them with a hot glue gun or utilize school glue. All of my students within my classroom, including the boys, enjoy this activity. Many of the boys took these home as presents for their moms or their sisters. An easy modification would be to make a split of the material to create trousers for the doll. You would need extra twine or ribbon. However, this would provide the boys with another alternative. Depending on my students' reading needs, I will now begin to read Little House in the Big Woods, either in small groups or as a whole group read aloud. I also like to give my students time to look at some postcards that I got while visiting Laura Ingalls Wilder's homestead. Some of these are pictures of the family and others are pictures of the homestead itself or items within the house. To end my day, I like to show the students the pilot of the old Laura Ingalls Wilder show. This really gives them a visual of Pioneer Day. We of course compare and contrast what really did or didn't happen to Laura Ingalls Wilder. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you're thinking of incorporating these activities into your classroom, be sure and give my video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to be proud of your work, productive in your day, and positively joyful.